This video explains how to add a new row to a pandas DataFrame in the Python programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the Python code. As a very first step in this tutorial, we need to import the pandas library, as you can see in the first line of code. And then we also need to create an example data frame using the DataFrame constructor. So after running these lines of code, a new data frame called data is created. And we can print this data frame using the print function. And then you can see below the code box that we have created a data frame containing 5 rows and the 3 columns x1, x2 and x3. Now, in preparation for the following examples, we also need to create a list object which contains the new row that we want to add to our data frame. And we can do that, as you can see, in these lines of code. So in this line of code, I'm creating a new list object that I'm calling new row. And then I'm printing this new row below the code box using the print function. So as you can see, our new row data object contains 3 elements. It's important to note that the number of elements in our list object needs to be the same as the number of columns in our data frame. So in this case, 3 elements in the list and 3 columns in the data frame. So in the next step, I can add this list as a new row to our data frame. So at first, I'm creating a copy of our data frame because I also want to keep an original version of our data frame. So after running this line of code, a new data frame called data new1 is created. And at this point, this data frame contains exactly the same values as our input data frame. And then in the next step, I'm using the log attribute to add a new row based on our list object new row at a certain location of our data frame. So in this case, I'm using the index value 5 to add our new row at the 5th index position. So in other words, I'm adding this row at the bottom of our data frame. You can see that by running the print function once again, and then our data frame is printed below the code box. And as you can see, at the 5th index position, we have added the values in our list as a new row to our data frame. In this example, I have explained how to add a new row at the bottom of a data frame. However, it's also possible to add a new row within a data frame. And this is what I want to show you in the next example in the 5th code box. So as in the previous example, I'm once again creating a copy of our input data frame. And in this case, I'm calling this copy data new2. And then, as in the previous example, I'm using the log attribute. However, this time I'm specifying an index value that is within the data frame. So in this case, the index value 2.5. And at this position, I'm adding the new row that I have created at the beginning of this tutorial. And then in the next step, I'm also resetting the index because I want to have an index that is ranging from 0 to the number of rows. And this is done by applying the sort index and reset index function, as you can see in this line of code. And then as a last step, I'm once again using the print function to print our updated data frame below the code box. So after running this line of code, you can see that we have created a new data frame, and you can find the new row that we have added at the 3rd index position of this data frame. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video, so you can find it there. If you have liked this video or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel, and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.